Hello, we are RSN Group Number 3, and our evaluation plan is centered on the Weber County Sheriff's Office Reentry Success Network. As RSN Group 3, our directive is to evaluate the Reentry Success Network. Using methods of data collection and analysis, our primary objective is to gauge the success of the program and determine if it aligns with its mission. Essentially, are formerly incarcerated individuals better off with the RSN program or not? Our findings will show some positive correlation, but due to our limited access to information, some results are not yet conclusive. However, recommendations for more data points collected over an extended period of time could highlight the ability of the program to reduce repeated criminal behavior, improve family ties, and strengthen communities.
Moving on to the stakeholders, we've mapped out everyone involved in the program. The core and authority group includes our team, the Weber County Sheriff's Office, courts, government officials, and probation officers. The support services are comprised of case managers, mental health providers, housing authority, and Department of Workforce Services. Finally, the community and beneficiaries group includes the former inmates themselves, their families, and local groups like nonprofits, religious advocacy groups, and community members. The Reentry Success Networks, or RSN, was established in 2023 as a collaborative effort involving the Weber County Sheriff's Office, Weber Human Services, and Utah Support Advocates for Recovery Awareness. The program's core mission is to support justice-involved individuals transitioning back into the community by addressing criminogenic risk factors and social determinants of health. Key goals include 12-month reduction in recidivism, increased success in finding housing and employment, and enhancing cooperation between justice, health, and social services to reduce service fragmentation. This slide summarizes the program's operations. The flow begins with enrollment, targeting moderate to high-risk individuals, moves through reentry planning, delivery of support services like job and health assistance, and concludes with monitoring and oversight. In our evaluation, we are assessing its impact. Does it reduce recidivism? Its performance? Is the structure aligned with goals and its use of resources? We also acknowledge several challenges, notably service fragmentation, individual client barriers, staff shortages, and community stigma impacting housing and job placement. Our needs assessment will explore several dimensions of the program's success. We will look at the average impact on participants, how different subpopulations are affected, and the influence of dosage effects. The amount of service received, Crucially, we will assess the fidelity of implementation to ensure the program is being delivered as designed, and ultimately, why the impact is important to the Weber County community. In our program theory, we define both short-term and long-term success. Short-term goals include reducing recidivism, connecting former inmates with mental health and substance abuse resources, and seeing positive change indicators like a decrease in severity of criminal activity or desistance. Long-term goals focus on creating program sustainability, streamlining spending, expanding resources like housing, establishing a jail reentry initiative option, and increasing collaboration across agencies.
So to address that question at the end, how does the program address those short-term and long-term goals? Through this logic model, based in the theory and the logic that overcrowded incarceration facilities and regularly returning individuals to incarceration has a significantly negative impact on society. Service utilization plan was mentioned above, that it is targeted as their pre-release in the system and then release from the system with post-release follow-up and support. The target population are individuals who have been incarcerated, and they're identified through a risk, need, and responsivity model. Risk for returning is calculated on multiple levels, including factors like the nature of a person's charges, number of bookings, and family and living situation. This logic model and this evaluation includes the inputs and activities, and we'll now talk about the outputs of those short-term and long-term outcomes. Next slide. So evaluating program outcomes, Evaluators will utilize interventions and surveys with questions directly associated to the activities of the program to help determine the cause and effect of outcomes due to participation in the RSN. We will also evaluate secondary data. Secondary data will come from many entities such as Weber County Sheriff's Office records, community partners associated with the RSN, criminogenic demographics within Weber County, and any other available data that we can obtain associated with partners of the RSN. Next slide. Through our data analysis, we'll have to look at statistical bias and how it would be accounted for in the evaluation. Our suggestion is to use an interrupted time series to look at the similar demographics of the people who are targeted from before the program was implemented. The program being only 2 years old does not have longevity of data recorded, and so using a time series can help us compare groups from before and after the group was implemented. There may be other comparisons that we can make to other groups that participate in communities, but those have to be taken with a grain of salt and understand that there are limitations to those comparisons. Participants for surveys would be selected randomly, and they would participate through a process of randomization. Next slide. There are some limitations and ethical considerations. Biggest limitation being, that was already mentioned, is the time constraint. The program is very young in its life. Ethical considerations, we would need to use informed consent with all the people that we associate with in our evaluation. Let them know that what we're asking them is for an evaluation. We're trying to determine the actual success of the program that they're in. And further, let them understand that the data that we're collecting will not be shared with other entities not associated with the evaluation, which addresses some of their private information ethical considerations. And just ensuring the dignity and respect of the participants, treating them as individuals with their own opinions and answers to our surveys.
In conclusion, the Reentry Success Network is a program built on strong design principles that focus on individualized care to help previously incarcerated individuals successfully transition back into society. The RSN is showing positive early outcomes, and it's clear that the program is achieving its intended effect by successfully reducing the amount of rebookings to the Weber County jail system. This is a very positive sign, confirming the program's value in just its first year. However, our evaluation highlights some significant data shortfalls that currently inhibit a complete analysis. Because the program is still in its infancy, it is incapable of producing the long-term reference data that we would need, data from 3 years out, 5 years out, to truly measure the long-term impact on recidivism. We also noted a tracking disparity. Currently, the metrics are better at identifying when clients fail through local rebooking, and then they are at identifying when clients truly succeed. We lack solid evidence of long-term positive change, especially for activity outside of the RSN's jurisdiction. And this raises the question, are the clients succeeding or are they just not getting caught? We need data points that prove sustained positive lifestyle changes. Furthermore, we find that the program's goal to enhance coordination among justice, health, and social systems is a highly ambitious objective for a program that's still in its initial development. And this broad focus risks diluting the efforts spent on their immediate target population, which raises the essential question, is RSN's primary goal to decrease numbers in the local jail system or to help the community as a whole? Based on these findings, we have 4 key recommendations. First, prioritize longitudinal tracking. The RSN must establish a formal system to track client outcomes for 3 to 5 years post-release to gather the necessary data to improve long-term impact. Second, we strongly recommend implementing a peer mentor program. Successful RSN graduates could be assigned to new clients, utilizing their experience to provide guidance and fill resource gaps caused by limited staffing. Third, refine success metrics. The RSN needs to develop clear, measurable indicators of client success that extend beyond local jail bookings. Finally, narrow the immediate focus. While system coordination is a great long-term goal, we advise temporarily focusing objectives to the core goal of local recidivism reduction while the program matures. We believe these recommendations will help the RSN strengthen its data collection, utilize its resources more efficiently, and continue to foster long-term success in the Weber County community.
That concludes our presentation. Thank you for watching.